The full-scale war started by Russia against Ukraine has been going on for 4 years now. It is the biggest war in Europe since the end of World War II. All this time I have been living in Ukraine, in the capital, in Kyiv. After 4 years of living through war, I can clearly see the difference between my expectations and the reality I had to live in. To keep it short, reality did not match my expectations, or it was much worse. So, stay until the end of this video. I think you will find it useful. We live in a very unstable world now. War can come to any country, and it is better to be prepared. Let's start with something very simple. A car. Before the war, I did not want to own a car. First, public transport in Ukraine was very good. Second, I was afraid of car repair and all the problems that come with maintenance. But when the invasion started, we had to evacuate urgently from Kyiv, a city of almost 4 million people. That was the moment when we clearly felt how critical it is to have your own car. Taxi prices to the railway station went up 10 to 15 times, and even then it was very hard to get a taxi at all. Ukraine's railway system has always worked very well. During those days it worked heroically. It evacuated huge numbers of people. We are very grateful for that. We were also able to evacuate by train. But imagine what evacuation by train looked like. At least 10 people in a compartment made for 4. People in the corridors. People everywhere. There was not enough air inside, and because of the trains were overcrowded, getting on one was extremely difficult. We tried to get on any train for a full day. And we were lucky, some of our friends could not get on a train for several days. It was also not very safe. Railway stations and trains became targets for missile strikes. Our train was leaving a semi-encircled Kyiv. The road passed away close to active fighting. All passengers had to turn off their phones and all lights inside the train to reduce visibility. People who had cars were able to evacuate immediately and change their route if needed. Evacuating by car has its own problems too. Maybe we will talk about that in another video, so don't forget to subscribe. Conclusion: I never expected that one day a car would be critical for my survival. But reality showed me that in a critical situation, a car can save your life. War revealed the best sides of society. I do not believe that modern society is mostly about kindness, empathy, and helping each other. That's why I was shocked by how much kindness people showed when the invasion started. It felt like everyone was thinking about how to help others. Not only people in general, but even strangers, neighbors you never spoke to before, people who lived next door for years. Ordinary people shared money, food, medicine, and safe places in their homes. Many people truly risked their lives. They delivered medicine and food. They helped others escape from combat zones. I was also deeply impressed by the support from other countries. People welcomed Ukrainian refugees. They helped them. They sent tons of humanitarian aid. I did not have clear expectations about this, but reality surprised me in a very positive way. A critical situation revealed the best sides of many people. But, unfortunately, war also revealed the worst sides of humanity. Sadly, this is what most people expect. And this is one area where reality mostly matched my expectations. But not completely. In many ways, reality turned out to be even worse than I imagined. Logically, I expected the war to be total. not only against the military, but also against civilians, against everything alive. I understood this with my mind, but emotionally you don't want to believe it until the last moment. At first, it was easier to believe that strikes on hospitals or apartment buildings were accidents, that the real targets was somewhere else. And yes, sometimes civilian buildings are hit accidentally or because missiles are intercepted by air defense. But when it happens regularly, systematically, you understand it is not an accident. More than that, Russian state media often openly admit that the targets was exactly there, a civilian building. This was especially tragic last winter because of deliberate strikes on energy and heating infrastructure. Millions of Ukrainians were felt without electricity and heat. Temperatures dropped below -20 Celsius. I will not go into details about countless war crimes. They clearly show how cruel humans can be. My conclusion is simple. If something bad can happen, plan your life as if the worst will definitely happen. And maybe it will be even worse than you can imagine. For example, some people believe they can stay and live under occupation. They think it is better to stay at home than to suffer as a refugee. It does not matter which country is occupying you, even if you like that country, even if you believe in its values, even if it claims to protect you. None of that matters. Run as far as possible from combat zones and occupation. People are capable of great evil. Why risk experiencing it yourself? The expectation that everything will end quickly. No one wants to live in war, so we like to believe that it will end soon. In Ukraine, there is now a meme about 2 or 3 weeks. At the very beginning, official messaging tried to stop panic, and it said the war would end in 2 or 3 weeks, or at least move to a lighter phase. Of course, this was not true. But I must admit, it helped many people not to fall into despair. It was easy to believe because everyone wanted it to be true. As you can see, 4 years have passed, and the end is still not visible. During all these years, there were always confident predictions about exact dates when the war would end.
I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours.
The dates always changed, and people always believed again. Suffering is easier when it has a clear end date. Conclusion: propaganda is very easy to believe, especially when it tells us what we desperately want to hear. If war has destroyed your life, build new plans as if the war will never end. You must live now, not after the war. If you keep waiting for better times, they may never come. And some opposite expectations. Many people both in Ukraine and abroad, including myself, expected that if a full-scale war started, Ukraine would stop existing, at least in the form it had before. People tried to be realistic. Russia is big and strong, Ukraine is much smaller and weaker. By all calculations, Ukraine had no chance. I expected to lose my home forever, but I'm still at home. Conclusion: some of the worst expectations not always come true. Even during the worst war since World War II, it is still possible to live. How does this fit with the previous conclusion? And maybe it will be even worse than you can imagine. They actually complement each other. Always be ready for the worst. We live in very unstable times. The chance that war will come to any home, anywhere in the world, is high. But if you learn to adapt, life becomes more bearable. Life goes on, and the worst may pass you by exactly because you were prepared. So like this video and subscribe to this channel. Here you will find advice on preparing for crisis situations based on real experience. You can also support this project with a donation, and check the links below the video. We are preparing more useful materials for you. See you next time.